Hey guys, I'm Mark,
I'm Alen.
and welcome to another episode of The Next Man Up. Listeners, welcome once again. It's so great to have you with us. Thank you for choosing this podcast on this day to spend your time and invest in yourself this way. We couldn't do it without you. We thank you for being a part of this, and got a good topic today that we're going to get to here in a bit. But I couldn't do this without my partner and friend Alen. So welcome in, man.
Hey, bud.
It's good to see you again.
Yeah, you too, bro.
Yeah.
You too. Good to see you.
How are things?
Oh, it's good, man. Life is good. I cannot complain.
Yeah.
It's busy, wild, but it's good.
Yeah.
How's your life going?
It's good, man. It's good as well. Like, just normal ups and downs, and there are challenges, but we got a chance before we started recording just to kind of get caught up with each other and swap some good stories and some of the good things that are happening. And so I always appreciate, your energy and your attitude and your perspective and being able to hear some of the cool things that are going on with you.
Thanks, man.
That was good. And
likewise.
And then having an ear to share some of the successes that I've had recently, or at least some of the good things going on. And
ladies and gentlemen, I love Mark. He's a low key rock star. Nobody knows.
Yeah,
he won't admit it. But I think he is.
Okay, so let's clarify. By rock star, you mean sort of like just a decent guy. Like I am not with a mic. I may be behind a microphone right now.
You have a microphone,
but you don't want me singing. You don't want me playing an instrument. Like let's just keep it real.
You rock life, man. You take life by the horns and you just go, man. It's good to watch somebody do that.
Yeah,
and do well. Like you do life well.
You're
You're rocking it.
You're
a rock star.
I don't think I could always have or could have always received that compliment. I feel like for a significant portion of my life, I was too much of a bystander. And we've talked about fear in the past. We've talked about failure and all of that. Like that was pretty present in my life. Okay. And over the last decade, I've shifted, I've changed, and have grown into a better representation of who I am. Not there, haven't arrived.
Sure, no one ever arrives.
But it's a better place for me to live, and I love being surrounded by people that are there as well, and even those that are further down the path, because it keeps reminding me like I got more to go. And these guys, these people can help me get there. And dude, you're in the crew. So
all right, I'm in the rock star. The entourage.
A little bromance going on here.
Oh, geez, that's awesome.
So here's the topic that I wanted to tee up today for us to discuss and for listeners to engage with. It's kind of it's really two ideas that I'm bringing together. The first is that we as fathers are playing a long game here. And we're not just playing a short game, or we're not just playing for the now. And in fact, a phrase that I've enjoyed using in my family and with my kids is be in the moment, but don't live for the moment, because there's a longer game at play. There's a bigger picture at play here. Yeah. So the sooner that you start living that, and I guess let's just call it this idea of legacy. The sooner you start living a life that's intentionally designed to leave a legacy for your kids coming behind, the more likely you are to avoid or minimize regrets down the road. To be able to avoid getting to your deathbed and saying, boy, I wish I would have. And then ... fill in the blanks. So I kind of want to talk through what it looks like to be intentional about living for a legacy. Okay. To be able to pass on, so that you can then avoid these regrets that will inevitably come. In fact, when we get to it, I'll refer to a book and a study that I often refer to about common regrets that people experience. Okay. But it's like living this long game, starting it sooner rather than later, so that you can have the intentional interactions today and avoid those regrets down the road.
Interesting. That's a pretty deep topic. A lot of things start popping up, like questions like, when do you start thinking about the man that you really are and the avenue that you want to travel down? And then questions come of, like, what do you do with failure? What do you do when you drop the ball? And how do you want, what kind of a man do you want to pass on to your son, and what kind of a man do you want your son to become?
Yeah.
You know, there's all these questions that pop up. Like another one was like, what was passed on to you?
Yeah, that's a big one. That's a starting point, I think.
You know what I'm saying?
Whatever was given to you, good or bad or anywhere along that continuum, if you can create some awareness and then choose, I'm going to show up better.
Yeah.
I'm going to do better. That feels like a great place to at least get started.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think, like, I was talking with a friend, and he was discussing with another person, like, the idea that in order to move forward you have to go back. And you know, when for me, when I look at like my past family history, and I look through uncles and father and grandfather and such, I don't have a lot of good things were passed on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, what do I do with all that? Because part of it was passed on to me on how to be a man in this world. You know, and like I had to deal with a lot of that when it came to like being a man, and then also being a father to a son, showing him the way. Like there was things that I was like, you know what, I have to change. The president of Pixar University, he said that one of the key like habits that or values that Pixar has is that they take every offer. So they take every offer as an opportunity. So whatever comes down the pipe, if someone hands you an unfinished like piece of work, you never go, oh, I can't do anything with it. Instead, you go, I'm going to take that and let me see what I can add or what I can make better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like for me, that's the way I've had to approach, because everything that I gotten looked rotten. It looked dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I had to take this as, I had to take this as an offer for an opportunity. And if I didn't choose to look at my past this way, I don't think I'd be here today. You know, and so instead,
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
Without having
really
walked
don't.
in your shoes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's too many examples of that being true.
Yeah. But I took it as an opportunity, and I said, you know, though my dad wasn't really a good dad to me, and though like most of my family connections are distraught and whatever, and most of the stuff that was passed down for me from the men in my family was not good and was just seemed rotten and destroyed. I wonder what I can do with this. I wonder what opportunity there is, and with help from Jesus, from help from other men and women who have stepped in and helped me, like, and with me going, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna change. I'm gonna be something more. Like I was able to go backwards and been restoring things and become the man that I am today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a popular song right now within the Christian radio circuit by the group Casting Crowns, And I don't know the title of the song. I'm not a huge follower of theirs, but I'm familiar with the song. And the verse is, I don't want to leave a legacy. I don't want anything to point to me. And then and it goes on from there. And I get the intent. I really do. But I kind of take issue with the concept of I don't want to leave a legacy. I think what they're saying is I don't want it to all be about me.
Agreed.
What I'm saying is I want it to be about the intentional life that I live today, so that I am handing a gift, to the kids that are coming behind me, not just some bomb, some piece of some turd.
Yeah.
I don't want that to happen. And so I think of legacy as like this opportunity for me to be the stone into the water that has the ripple upon ripple upon ripple, from my kids to my grandkids to my great grandkids to my great great grandkids that I may never know, and so on and so on and so on. That's the long game that I'm talking about. It's starting today, whatever and wherever and however today is for you. It's starting today to be that blessing to the next generation based on what I leave behind.
Yeah, man. Because everyone leaves something behind.
Yeah.
Everyone. It doesn't matter, if you believe in leaving a legacy or not, you will.
Yeah, you leave something behind.
Now, your name may not be remembered in 100 years. Your face may not be remembered in 100 years, although with technology today,
it'll be stored anyway.
I'm sure it's going to be somewhere in this vast
it won't be lost.
Nothingness of internet.
Yeah.
But you evidently, something from you passes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Whether it's a word or a saying or just the way you lived, it gets rubbed off on someone else, like something. So legacy happens no matter if you feel like you want to leave one or not. So if you're going to leave one, why not leave one that is for the bettering of your fellow humankind?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like and so whenever my brain just went really weird, right there, I'm thinking, yeah, well, you know what? A lot of the evil guys in James Bond, they thought they were bettering the humankind. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what do you do? But that's not what I'm talking. I'm talking about just being a person who illuminates, being a person who is a water fountain for those around him or her.
A bucket filler, like we were talking about in the previous episode.
Yeah, I live simply, man. I am not the smartest guy in the room. There's sometimes I walk into rooms and I'm just like, I'm not the smartest guy, but you know what though? I'm gonna live life.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna do things well, but I want to do things simply. And the simple life for me is dude, I'd rather just be a water fountain for folks. I want to give you a cool drink, and that takes doing something in me. You know what I mean? And so that whatever gets poured out, is good for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's a simple legacy to pass.
Yeah.
And for those out there wondering, what kind of legacy can I leave behind? Man, what an easy one.
Yeah.
Be someone who betters the next person. What easier thing can you do than that?
So I'm gonna imagine that most of our listeners are on the same page. They're like, yeah, that's what I want. Mm-hmm. That's what I want to do. That's how I want to live. That's how I think I show up. And so I'm gonna switch to this idea of regrets now, because I think this can be an awareness moment. If we imagine ourselves at the side of somebody, at the bedside of somebody who's dying, and we're listening to them talk through, I wish I would haves, it can be pretty powerful, right? It cause us to reflect on, oh boy, maybe I need to make some changes. So I often refer to a book written by Bronnie Ware, who is a palliative care nurse out of Australia, and she was the one at the bedside of people that were dying over and over and over as part of what she did. And what she began to discover is that people were experiencing the same regrets. From person to person to person, the same regrets were showing up over and over and over. And she captured them and put a book out that is called The Top Regrets of the Dying, or something like that. I can't remember the exact title, but here are the top 5 regrets that she kept hearing over and over and over. One was, I wish I would have pursued my dreams and aspirations, not those others had for me. So pause there for a minute. Maybe that's not you as a man, but maybe that's you as a father. And what are you giving to your son as he's talking about his passions and his dreams? Are they his? Or are right? Like so like we can sit in this space as both individual and then the role as a father. Anyway, pursued my dreams and aspirations versus what others had for me. The second one, I wish I didn't work so hard. Tell me if that doesn't strike right at the heart of many men that you know and that I know today. We are working and we're doing it with this idea of I'm providing for my family. I'm providing dollar signs. I'm providing cars. I'm providing food, lots and lots and lots of food, right? Like we're providing. And I get that. I don't want to disparage provision and responsibility and owning a role like that. But are you working too much?
Yeah.
And are you going to regret down the road the times that you missed today that you will never get back? Number 3, I wish I would have expressed my feelings and spoken my mind. Like how does that land with listeners out there? How does that land with you? How does that land with me? Do we speak up? Do we share our opinions? Do we show up, or do we hold back out of fear or whatever? Number 4, I wish I would have stayed in touch with friends. And then number 5, I wish I would have let myself be happier. So you can see, like, these are big things that people are wrestling with as they know that their time is about to expire. Yeah. So what does that mean for us as men as we are thinking about legacy and living today? And what does it mean for how we help our boys to show up into the world as healthy and full and whole men so that they can live in such a way as to avoid these regrets?
Well, how much time do you have, Mark?
There's a lot here, right?
There's like a ton there.
You want me to read them again?
Yeah, what's the first one?
Yeah, so it's I wish I would have pursued my dreams and aspirations, not those others had for me.
Oh, man. Look, so if depending on your family of origin, what I mean by that is how you experienced love growing up, what's your like how like there was fostering or not fostering of the ability to dream for more or hope, or how you experience trust, ability to trust others in life, and then from that, like depending on like how you cope with that, and so the ways that you dissociate, you deal, your defense mechanisms, whatever. I tend to find that a lot of people end up being people pleasers. And if you are a people pleaser, like you need people to like you. You need people to say good job. You need people to uplift you because their like love for you, or their affection for you, or their like of you has become your identity. Yeah. It is real easy to die or be on your deathbed with that as your regret. It really is. And so what do you do with that? Like, you go deep. Yeah. And you deal with the inner, people call them inner demons. Some people say your issues, like whatever you want to call it, you deal with it. And that's a hard thing, Mark, it is hard to do. Yeah. Like to drill down deep and get to the ugly of the heart and see why you do the things that you do, or say the things you say, or why you react the way you react to things. It takes peeling back of years and years of layers. But here's the good news. It is possible. It is possible for it to happen.
Yep.
And it may not happen in a day. It may not happen in a month. It may not happen in a year, but it can happen.
It's possible.
And the legacy that we leave for our kids is, and fellas, please hear me on this, as someone who's gone through that. And it still is like redefining like my identity so I don't end up like that on my deathbed. I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Redefining that has been so hard and so messy and painful. And so like it's like turning on lights in a abandoned apartment and watching the roaches scurry. You know what I mean? It's scary, man.
Yeah.
But wow, like I've been on this process for a while now, and I'm able to like to stand and like even show my kid, my son, my daughters, like you don't have to people please. You go after what you feel in your heart is a thing that you need to do.
Yep.
Like, it's not about them. Like, they're not living this life of mine. Like, my dad is not living my life. My mom is not living my life. My brothers and sisters, my family, my friends, my kids, my wife, they're not living my life. Like, I am. And if I don't like go after what I feel is in my heart, then I'm going to die with a huge regret. You know what I'm saying?
I do. And I'm gonna say this because I know you and your heart, but I'm just going to clarify. You're not talking about being selfish and running out and doing your own thing. You're talking about becoming fully the person that you were created to be.
Yes, man. Like, like and sometimes that doesn't mesh with like those around me.
Others' expectations of who you're supposed to be, how you're supposed to serve them and meet their needs. And
it's like, at one point I should have been an amazing soccer player, but that's not what was in my heart. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it hurt people. It hurt the college that I was supposed to go play at. But that's not what was in my heart. There was a time where people were like, dude, you were going to be the best like youth pastor in the world. And I'm like, that's great, but that's not what was in my heart. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, you should move to California. You know what I mean? It's like we had this world of greatness for you. And, the family's like, let's go. And I'm like, guys, I just don't think this is it.
Yep.
If I was a people pleaser, I would have been ripped 20 different ways. Mm-hmm. But because like I've learned to settle down and realize who I am, and no matter what I do, no matter what I say, I'm loved by God. That's my identity. You know what I'm saying? And like I know who I am, and I know the person that I have like been taking steps in becoming more and more the true person that I am. That person wakes up and goes, "Hey, I love you, and like I adore you, or I can't stand you, but I see how you have a place in my life. I'm just not going to do what you think is best. Yeah. I'm going to do what I know in my heart to be the best thing for me to do right now." And that's oh man, that is a great place to be in, and it's a great place for my kids to see me.
That's right.
Because then they see I don't have to just roll over with every, you know what I mean, like push from somebody. I can stand up and be my own person. And that person right there is someone that I can go after. You know what I mean? Today, right now, and for the future. Yeah. That's a huge legacy.
It is. The one that I always react to is this, I wish I didn't work so hard.
Yeah.
And for a couple of reasons. One, it's always been a commitment of mine to not be that workaholic. Now, I worked around them for 20 years in the corporate space. I'm working around them now out in the solopreneur space. But I always wanted to not be that guy, not be that person. And I thought I was doing pretty good. And then in 2011, I had a stretch where I was working a ton, like 21 days straight working, 12, 14-hour days. Like I was gassed. But in that process, I missed a vacation. with the family and 2 other couples. I had helped plan it. I helped to organize it. And this thing came up at work, and I missed the vacation. Just a couple days ago, it came up in family discussion. And it wasn't, oh, Dad, you're such a slime ball. It was my wife saying, oh, yeah, this what we're talking about was the time that you weren't with us.
Yeah.
Like, dude, it still hurts.
Yeah.
And I said at that point, I was going through a lot of different things, but I said at that point, never again. Never, ever again will I allow work to blow through my boundaries so much that I miss something like that. Now I get it. There are things that we have to do for our employment that don't allow us to be 100% flexible and to be. I get it, right? But never again.
Yeah.
And in part that's what led to my pivot a number of years ago, because the job was starting to encroach. And I'm like, I've seen this movie before. I don't like how it ends. I don't want to sit through this one again. I'm going to write a new one. Yeah. And I'm like, I gotta change. I gotta make a change. And, we've talked a little bit about that story here. But it was because I knew I don't want to get to the end of my life and look back and say, I wish I hadn't worked so hard. I wish I hadn't pushed so hard at work that I missed other things going on. Yeah. And man, I see it all around. And, there's various reasons that people are pushing and pushing and pushing. But I just wonder if we were to get people's attention and to be able to have an honest and a frank conversation with them and say, if you were on your deathbed today and you got a chance to go back and do things different, what would you do? And then we give ourselves that chance, right? It's like we transport ourselves in our imagination to what it would feel like to be able to, well, not to be able to, but to be on our deathbed and say, yep, this, whatever it is, this is something that I would regret.
Yeah, yeah.
And then to realize, okay, today, let's choose to live differently.
Yeah.
Like that's
pretty cool. It
is cool. It's an opportunity we all have, but it's not a choice that we all make.
No. And and I've fallen victim to that mindset in the past as well. Like, fathers, if you're out there and those listening, like, I don't know, just hearing what you're saying, Mark, I would challenge all of us to think through our schedule.
Yeah.
Like, what does it look like? And then ask the question, will this be the determining, like, important thing for the future?
Yeah.
Like, what are you about to miss? What are you about to, like, set aside? What does your priority list look like? And we got to keep the lights on.
Yeah. And there's important work to be done.
We got to feed our families. We gotta provide for a roof over our heads. And that's, I am about that. Like, it bothers me when I see someone not taking care of their family. Like, it's like, dude, you had the strength to build. Like, you gotta like do something here. You gotta help your family out. Yeah. With all that you can. But at the same time, I'm thinking, like, how many birthdays get missed and how many, and what that says for your family, and what that says for our kids and for our wives, and what does that say for, like, the future, like, when we sit on our deathbed, and will this be a regret that comes up because we worked so hard to get that almighty dollar, to get that extra car, to pay for that extra vacation that we didn't go on. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, was it worth it? And if you can't answer yes, man, rethink your schedule. Yeah, I agree. It's so that's kind of the challenge that we're issuing today, right? Is think about what you are leaving and what legacy you want to leave, and begin to do it today. Yeah. It may take
it may take some time to fully pivot or to fully change. You can introduce tweaks and incremental changes. It's a journey.
Yeah.
Alon and I are sitting here nodding our heads that we don't have it figured out yet, but we're in the process.
Yeah, in the process, always in the process.
And so that's the challenge that we're issuing, is to think about what you can do today to leave the kind of legacy that you want to leave today. We're not promised tomorrow.
No.
So live it today, so that when that time expires, when the buzzer sounds and your game of life is over, you can look back and say, yep, I did all I can to leave a positive legacy for those that are coming behind. And I'm proud of it. Yeah. That's what I want. Yeah. I know that's what you want. I'm sure that's what most of our listeners want. So take the challenge.
Yeah.
Take a look and make the adjustments, make the choices.
And if you're out there and you are listening to this and you're like, hey, you know what? Actually, I've actually been practicing some things to not leave such regrets on the table when I leave, and I have been doing some things to practicing some things to say, hey, here's how I'm going to leave this world better for the kids coming up behind me. Like, please reach out to us, give us a hit up on our email or
share your success story.
Facebook. Show us what you've been doing. Tell us what you're doing, so that way, other people can learn too. Man, look, this is just a conversation, and conversations takes more than one voice. And so if you're out there and you know of something, hit us up with it and let us know about it so we can share with other people.
Yeah, that's right. Dude, it's always good to get inside your brain and unpack some of that wisdom and experience. I know it came with some scars, for sure.
Sure.
But it's always good when you can share your wisdom with us. So appreciate it.
Likewise, my friend. Likewise.
All right, listeners, until next time, adios.
Adios.
Hey, listeners, thanks for journeying with us on this Next Man Up podcast. We would love to hear from you. Maybe you have a question or an idea, perhaps a topic for us to consider. If that's you and you want to reach out to us, you can get us at feedback@thenextmanup.com. That's feedback@thenextmanup.com. Again, we'd love to hear from you. Until next time, we'll see you later.